Hi, it's Nike with Wisdom House with Nike. So I'm gonna quickly go into this. The goal of Wisdom House with Nike is to really talk about issues and just subjects, not necessarily issues. Take subjects in the human life continuum and talk about and address those topics. Okay, I try to talk about things that I know about. So I'm gonna really be, try to stay within the lane of things I really know about, or experiences that I'm very familiar with. So we started, on the Wisdom for Marriage series, but I'm gonna pivot a little bit today, and I'm gonna be talking on wisdom for faith. So with this one, I can't tell if it's gonna be a series or just gonna be one and done. So just stay with me. So why am I talking about wisdom for faith today? I'm talking about wisdom for faith because I grew up in a Christian household, and very early, okay, I got to know about the Christian faith and confessing, the my Christian faith by confessing with my mouth and embracing, believing in my heart the Lord Jesus, and that is how you come into the faith, Christian faith. Okay, you believe in your heart, you confess with your mouth the Lord Jesus, and you come into the Christian faith. So even though I had done this, okay, and I, consider myself Christian, and I've walked that, and that's the faith I consider myself in. I had a little challenge, complete embracing my faith completely. And I'm talking about this because there could be someone out there, okay, that may have this challenge as well. And that's why I share stories, because I know that our humanity is like a fabric. Okay, we share it. Somebody could be millions of miles away from me and having the same experience I'm talking about. But in sharing my story, they can learn something from it and use it, to improve their own life as well. So for me, why did I have the challenge of embracing my faith completely? And I'm going to say this. So I'm a scientist at heart. Okay, I study the medical sciences. Okay, I'm a physician. So for me, science, as you know, it's about measurement, right? And it really talks about the things you can see, the things you can touch, the things you can measure, even if you cannot we cannot touch it, right? Like electromagnetism, we can hypothesize, we can postulate, we can give a theory of how it exists, of how it works, and we can do some scientific experiments to determine the reality of these things, right? And I pride myself in that science. I love the measurement, the analytics. Just thinking about it, it's part of who I am. So now I come into a quandrum, right? Because with faith, everything in faith is not necessarily something you can see and touch or measure. For example, God. You cannot say, oh, I can touch and measure God. You can do that, right? And even though these are things I believed, right, and I still believe in, I used to feel like in totally embracing my faith, then I wouldn't be grounded in my science. So that was that for me. It may not be everybody's. It was that for me, and I'm sharing this in case there's someone out there that had that same challenge, right, of embracing faith because of their science. So that was one of the reasons, right? Where I couldn't totally embrace another reason why I couldn't totally embrace my faith, in a way. Or when I say totally embrace, I mean, I also used to feel like for you to profess that you're a Christian, you had to be a certain way. For example, you know, like, in Christianity, the Christian faith, Jesus has said, if someone slaps you, then you turn the other cheek, right? And I just wasn't sure that I had come to a place in my life where I was ready to turn the other cheek, where so because I knew I couldn't, I wouldn't be, if somebody slapped me, I knew I wouldn't be turning the other cheek. So I felt, okay, like, I couldn't do that. And again, with that, I also kind of disqualified myself in totally embracing the faith. Like I profess the faith, but I couldn't really say um I completely embraced it. Okay, okay. So, then again, another thing, my personality, right? There's a part of me, I guess, that believe that if you of the when I see some people, they are like so soft, so gentle, so kind. I'm not like that. Okay. I have a lot of spirit. I laugh loud. I have a lot of I'm energetic. I felt sometimes when I saw people that were they just have that personality and they also have that faith. I almost felt like they were more Christian than I was. So I was judging myself by that yardstick that they were more, quiet, pleasing, thank you, nice. And that was like natural for me. For me, I'm like, I consider myself a great person. I like to think of myself someone with positive intentions, okay? But I knew I could be firm. I could be like, no. And I'm not gonna, flinch. I may not say, give a lot of excuse to say no. I'll just be like, no, and I just felt that came out a little too strong. So those were some of the reasons why I did not completely embrace my faith. And so why do I say this story? So at some point in my life, a couple of years ago, I took a pause. It seemed like I was asking myself these questions like, why the Christian faith? Why do I profess this faith? Is this the faith that was handed over to me by my parents, or is this my own faith? I had to ask myself this question. And you could be out there, you're wondering, this faith, and I'm talking about the Christian faith because I like to talk about things I know about. I don't try to talk about things I do not know about. Is this my faith? Is this my faith, or is it the faith of my parents? So, of my fathers, right? And I thought about it. In fact, I would almost say that these questions came to me. It literally pulled me in. It came to me that I felt like I needed to answer the question. So I took a moment and I answered that question. And I thought about it and I said, this faith is my faith. I choose you as my own God and I embrace you for myself. Not because of what my dad has said, not because of what I've heard, but I choose you for myself and I choose you for you. And people, when I responded to those questions like that, like with my entire heart, I found myself in a place of perfect peace. I found myself in a place of peace. I was at peace with myself. I felt so much peace that I felt I could line up a ton of people and share that peace with them. And at that moment, I thought to myself, if I had known that embracing my faith completely would bring me to this place of peace, guess what? I would have embraced it completely 10 years ago. 10 years ago. And that's why I talk about it. I talk about it because I've experienced that peace that it brought me into. I'm not talking about something I do not know about. Like it literally felt like I was dropped into, okay, I cannot swim, but like I was dropped into like an ocean, an unending place of peace. Just imagine like the widest field, green and beautiful, and you're just in the middle of that field that goes on all the way. Okay. And that's why I talk about it, because there can be someone out there. You're struggling with your faith. You're wondering, oh, if I embrace my faith completely, will I become weird? Because I also had that. I should have added that. I was worried that maybe I will become weird. Maybe to make me weird. But of course I know better now. I know that when God wanted to express himself in a joyful, happy, energetic way, he chose himself to be expressed through me that way. And that even helped me to embrace myself completely, my joyfulness, my energetic nature, and not judging myself against, people that may come across as more gentle, more kind, more quiet, And that doesn't mean I cannot make mistakes. Again, that was another thing. Like I said, I thought when you slap me and I don't give you my other cheek, then I'm not completely embracing my faith, But again, it doesn't take me away from not making mistakes. No, it doesn't mean you're perfect. And that the journey of faith is to bring you into a better person every day. It's not, you don't become perfect and come into the faith. You come into the faith the way you are, then the faith will work on you to become a better person every day. Okay? So that's my little, that's my, I don't, it's not little, that's my story, and I'm like, that was how I came into, my faith, complete embracing my faith completely. And I invite you, if you've struggled, you don't know, should I embrace this faith completely? Will I be strange? Will I be weird? No. It's going to rather bring you to a place of complete and perfect peace. So think about it. Ask yourself the question, this faith, is it my faith? Take a moment to answer that question, and that question will bring you into a place of perfect peace.